Okay. Oh, Jermaine. Oh, there you are. How you going? So what do you need? Do you want that microphone, or would you like a hand microphone so you can walk around? Or do you just want to work off those slides? How do you? Oh yeah, you can play the slides. Big button. See that white box? See the white screen? What is that? Should go. Hi? Nothing. Perfect. Yep. Yep, so it's a big button. Yeah, and just next to the white box. See the white round thing on the end of the desk? Oh, that one? Yeah. Point it back. Good work for you, okay? There you go. That's backwards. Backwards, forward. Yep, forward that. Do you want to use that microphone and stand in the one spot, or would you rather have one of these that you walk around with? I'll get another one for me.
Oh, we can. Oh.
No, it's all right. It's not on. Do you want this here? Or I get rid of it? So it'll be live now.
Okay.
And when you go home, just search Armidale District Baptist Church.
Okay.
And it'll come up as a separate, like a service, like a church service.
Thank you.
Okay.
No problem at all.
Yeah, that's good.
Because probably I thought maybe I can share it with. Because that would want to use it as well.
Yeah. So you can get if you go to Armidale District Baptist Church, you can just get the link off the top of the thing and just send them the link.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Easy.
Easy. Okay, give them about another. We'll give them 2 minutes to sit down. Okay, 5 past. So I think his introduction. Is this correct? You're the Senior Case Manager for Support Worker Coordinator Program in Newcastle, Hunter Region. You're currently in Armidale at the invitation of STARTS. That's correct, which is a service for the treatment and rehabilitation of trauma and torture survivors, and he's agreed to speak to us this afternoon on his day off. Okay. There's a lot to read about Jermaine on the web, but this sentence stood out to me when I was reading about you last night. Jermaine continues to play a pivotal role in ensuring that the protection of refugees and migrants is upheld, but also makes sure that refugees and asylum seekers and migrants are welcome and treated in a way that maximises their chance of making a productive transition to their new country, providing them with unrestrained equality of opportunity to pursue their dreams. Okay, that's one of your sentences. He arrived in Armidale in, I said 2013, is that correct? Then you said 2012 this morning.
In
Australia.
2011.
2011. Okay, I better remember that. I'll read that out. Under the Family Reunion Program, is that correct? After leaving Africa in 2002 as a refugee and settling in England. Is that correct? While in England received a bachelor's degree in Peace Studies and International Relations, and since arriving in Australia has also received a Bachelor of Social Services degree from Charles Sturt University and an advanced diploma in counselling from the Southwestern Sydney Institute. He also speaks 8 languages, which I find really impressive, as I haven't yet mastered one. Yeah. Is that an introduction? Is that okay? Yeah, anything else you want me to say about you?
No, that's fine.
Is that good?
Yeah,
I'll introduce you. So I'll get up and introduce you, and then you can come up. And
so I'm a husband and a father.
And a husband and a father. Okay. I'll add that too. Okay. How many children?
I've got 9 kids.
You got 9? Oh, okay, go.
I've got 9 kids, 3 grandchildren.
We're good to go.
Happy to.
We're just waiting for you, that's all.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind.
Yeah, okay.
You don't need me.
No, I think we're right to go. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. I hope this is a really informative afternoon, and it is my great pleasure this afternoon to introduce Jermaine to you, and Naharana to you. So it's a great pleasure to be here. So Jermaine is the Senior Case Manager for the Support Worker Coordinator Program in Newcastle for the Hunter Region, and he's currently in Armidale at the invitation of STARTS. And if you don't know what STARTS is, it's a service for the treatment and rehabilitation of trauma and torture survivors. And he's agreed to come and talk to us this afternoon on his day off. So that's pretty impressive, isn't it? Okay, so there's a whole lot to read about Jermaine on the website. I got on to the web last night. But this one sentence stood out to me. Jermaine continues to play a pivotal role in ensuring that the protection of refugees and migrants is upheld, but also making sure that refugees and asylum seekers and migrants are welcome and treated in a way that maximises their chance of making a productive transition to their new country, providing them with unrestrained equality of opportunity to pursue their dreams. So that's what Jermaine's all about. He arrived in Australia in 2011 under the Family Reunion Program after leaving Africa in 2002 as a refugee first settling in England. While in England, he received a Bachelor of Degree in Peace Studies and International Relations. Since arriving in Australia, has also received a Bachelor of Social Science degree from Charles Sturt and an advanced diploma in counselling from the Southwestern Sydney Institute. He's also a father and has 9 children. So he's... And 3 grandchildren now, he tells me. Okay, didn't know about that. He also speaks 8 languages, which I find really impressive because I haven't even mastered one yet. So I would like you to give a welcome to Jermaine and the presentation. So thank you. The agreement was that I would sit here on the side. There will be questions and answers at the end, but I thought I might sit over here on the side, and if I feel like I need to interrupt, I probably will. Okay? So thanks, Jermaine.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for having me, and I'm really privileged to be here at Armidale, in Armidale, I would say. A great place. When I was driving, I was like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. And all of a sudden, I just come to this beautiful, place where there is green trees, absolutely gorgeous. I love it. When we started the program, I'm working on the CLSR program, which is Community Living Support for Refugees with Mental Health. So it's a program I'm coordinating in the Hunter region. And originally, I was also coordinating it in Armidale, which was a little bit far away from me to coordinate. And then someone came to, deal with it in Armidale while I'm just using the Hunter region. Rukia, so Rukia came to kind of relieve me from this big duty of driving all the time from Newcastle to Armidale. And at that time, I've never been in Armidale. This is my first time, and I really enjoy it. Thank you for your warm welcoming, thank you so much. As Rob has said, so that's me, what he just presented me. And Naruhana, as my surname, means victorious in English. So we're going to talk about the Congo, but before we talk, we need to do the welcome country. Always was, always will be, and always an Aboriginal land. So we acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Aboriginal peoples, over which sovereignty was never ceded. We acknowledge their elders, past, present, and emerging. We acknowledge the ongoing trauma of colonization and dispossession. We support social justice of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. So today we're going to talk about the Democratic Republic of Congo, where I come from, and where majority of some of the people you're working with comes from. Maybe you've never heard about Congo, you don't know where Congo is located. So Congo is the red dot you see on that big map. And Congo is the second largest country in Africa with 9 neighbors. So we are surrounded by 9 countries. Oh, sorry. One forward. Okay. So this is the Democratic Republic of Congo, which was formerly called Zaire. And before Zaire, it was called a Belgium Congo. So Congo has a population of 120 million people, inhabitants. The official language is French. So we learn French from kindergarten up to university. So that is our education language and official. In offices, everywhere you go, people speak French. Apart from French, we have 4 other national languages. So we have Lingala, we have Chiluba, we have Kikongo, and we have Swahili. And those 4 languages, national, are divided into 4 parts of the country. So we have the whole east of Congo, from the Katanga region to the Ituri and Kisangani region, we speak Swahili. So the Ituri, the Kisangani, the Katanga, South Kivu, North Kivu, we speak Swahili. In the central Congo, they speak Chiluba. That's where our current president comes from. In the northwest, which is the side of Equator, they speak Lingala. And Lingala is the major language that is spoken in the army and music. So when you talk about Congo music, mostly they sing in Lingala. And the army uses Lingala as the language. Congo has approximately 450 ethnic groups. And those ethnic groups, within themselves, you have all these clans and tribes. So we are looking into more than 700 different languages spoken in Congo. And these languages are divided into, into the region as you see. So, and as the ethnic group you see, and that's how you have we talk about the kingdoms and all of that. So that's how it is divided. And each tribe has their own language. I speak Mashi, in as much as I can speak 3 national languages there, but I can also speak my dialect, which is Mashi, my mother tongue. So, like Rob said, I speak 8 languages, apart from those, from my country. As I said, Congo has 9 borders, 9 countries. We have Angola, Congo, Brazzaville, the Republic, Central African Republic, Rwanda, Uganda, Burundi, Tanzania, Zambia, and South Sudan. So those are the 9 countries that Congo share the border. And our border was inherited from the 1884 to 1885 Berlin Conference, which was held in Germany under the Chancellor Bismarck. At that particular time, that's when they decided to carve Africa up into different small nations. That's where the 54 African nations were born. And the conflict we are having today in Africa, I would say, is because of that. You find people who were in Congo, they found themselves in Angola when they divided. So that's where you find people who speak the same language, same culture, who are in Angola and who are in Congo. Who are in Zambia, you find a tribe called Babemba in Zambia, at the same time Babemba in Congo. You find the Rund in Zambia and the Rund in Congo. They share the same culture, same king. See? So why? Because when they divided Africa, those people did not take into account the languages, tribes, and culture of the people. Congo is a geological scandal. When we talk about geological scandal, Congo is the richest country on earth in terms of mineral resources. And that is our misfortune. The misfortune of Congolese is because Congo is rich. And the powerful nations holding the hegemony, they decide not to allow Congolese people to enjoy what God blessed them with. And that's why war upon war continues in Congo. So, talk about culture and tribes. Like I said, we have more than 450. And each tribe in Congo have their own king. So we have the president of the country, but within the government, we have also the government of kings and chiefs. So this is my king, the king of my chiefdom. So, as it says, we have separate kings. Like Bashi, from my tribe, we have our own king. The Babembe, they have their own king. The Rund, as I said, they have their own king. The Bafuliru, they have their own king. So each tribe, they identify themselves with their chiefs, traditional kings. So, and these kings, they must be worshipped. They are venerated. You know, they are everything that we hold dear. And as people, like on their birthday, people have to travel from afar to go and pay their respect. You come with cattle, you can bring cow, you can bring whatever it is, just to come and pay your respect. And the government, when government is writing policies, all of that, the president, the government will not implement those policies without consulting these people. So that's how powerful they are, because it's a click of a finger, and they can change the whole dynamic of government by uprising people. So the government is aware of that, and they cannot do anything without actually involving them. When we talk about the conflict, because this is very, very important for you to understand, the Congo conflict did not start from today. It's a generational conflict. Generational conflict because it starts from the day the Berlin Conference divided Africa into different small nations. So this guy here, King Leopold II, he was the king of Belgium at the time of Africa division, when they carved up Africa. And they gave him the whole Congo for himself. So Congo was his private property. So he could do anything he wanted in that country, and no one will dare challenge him. So that's how, you see, 1876 International African Society, Exploitation of Colonization. So they started sharing, so you come to work in my Congo, but this is how you're gonna do it. So, you can see, I'm not gonna talk about all of that, so I want to talk about, because he talked about the Otto Bismarck when they carved up Africa, all of that. And this guy, when he went to Congo as a king, during his reign, 10 million Congolese people perished under his reign. Others were chopped their arms. So what was happening is they were forcing Congolese to work into, farm. They were extracting rubber at the time, and they give you a task to do. They say, okay, it's like someone picking fruit, or they pick like apples in a farm, and it's okay, we are giving you 1 barrel, empty barrel, you fill it at a certain amount of time. So if you don't do that, then they see that you are a lazy person, they chop your arm. If you are lucky enough, they will beat you until the flesh comes from your body. That happened. And simply, your husband is going to work to support the family, and they will never come back. So there is mass graves in Congo during this guy's reign. So when he got sick, he got old, he sold Congo to his own people, Belgian people. That was in 1908. So you can see that between 1985 and 1908, Congo Free State turns to become a Gulag labor camp of shocking brutality using the force publique. So during that time, people suffered a lot. There was a genocide that nobody ever spoke about. So on November 15, 1908, the parliament, the Belgian parliament, after King Leopold have sold Congo to Belgium, so the parliament decided now to annex Congo to Belgium rule. And that's where the colonization of Belgium started. So that's where the political paternalism politic started, where you have to call them father, even though they are not priests or so, you have to call them father, you have to, bow and all of that. It was horrible. The colonization of Belgium to Congo was nothing but a horrible colonization. So if you read the books about Congo colonization, you will understand what I'm talking about. So people died like, flies like mosquitoes. So the legacy of colonization, political instability. In 1954 to 59, there was an emancipation of Congolese people. They wanted to free from the horrible mistreatment from Belgium, and there were conflict, war. People started to uprising and fighting for their freedom. So many people were killed, and in 1960, we gained independence, but with a price, where our first hero, Patrice Emery Lumumba, who was the first prime minister of the country, he went to to Belgium, and he declared that the independence of Congo is not a gift to Belgium. L'indépendance du Congo n'est pas un cadeau pour la Belgique, mais un droit fondamental du peuple congolais. It's a fundamental right for the people of Congo to have their independence. It's not a gift from Belgium. So, and he did that at the round table in Brussels. You can imagine, before all those elite, they were so furious. But being furious, they ended up, granting independence, but with a very negative heart. And they started conniving on how to kill Lumumba, who was the hero who fought for that independence. And that's where the political instability started, because Lumumba was the prime minister, but the guy in black and white over there was the first president of Congo. His name was Kasavubu Joseph. But he was not really a leader. He was not reading nothing, but because the prime minister was holding power. But because the prime minister was holding power, the CIA and the Europe, they decided to get rid of him. And by getting rid of him, then they could regain power to Congo. So they killed him on 16th of January 1961. They killed him, and when they killed him, the chaos started in Congo till today. So Congo has never really had the peace that generations were born. We were born in war, and we continue, and we are getting our kids. We are bringing kids on earth still in war. So that guy was, he died by natural death. But this guy here did a coup. He toppled him by coup in 1965. The guy is called Mobutu Joseph Désiré. In 1965, Désiré took power until 1997. So 32 brutal dictatorship. So he ruled on a feast, so you could not actually challenge him. So he killed a lot of politicians. He silenced his opponent. He did so bad. And why? Because he was used by the CIA. He was used as the puppet to do the will of the West. So he was the one who was controlling the African region on behalf of the Western powers. And that's how the Western power did not look at what he was doing to his own people, because he was an innocent dictator for them, because he was doing their will. So when he started changing, they said, we no longer need you. What they did, they created the invasion of Congo. So the invasion of Congo, so still current violence in the East, legacy of colonialism. So when the West did not want Mobutu anymore, they had to create a war to get rid of him. So at that time, Bill Clinton was the president, was just finishing his term as US president. And Rwanda had already gotten the genocide, the 1994 genocide in Rwanda. So we had a lot of Rwandan refugees who came to Congo, and that was an alibi for the American to find someone that they can use, to topple Mobutu and to have an upper hand on Congo minerals. So the opportunity was after the 1994 genocide in Rwanda, they went and find Paul Kagame, the current president of Rwanda. So they use him as a puppet, an upper hand, to carry this heinous war in Congo that today has decimated 15 million souls. So you can see the troops from Uganda, troops from Rwanda, and troops from Burundi in 1997 invaded Congo. And because the Congolese army was weak, they could not actually defend the territory. And seeing that Uganda came through the northeast, Rwanda came through the east, and Burundi came through the southeast, the Congolese or the Zairian army at the time was unable to cope with the advancement of these foreign troops. Therefore, on the 17th of May, same year, 1997, Congo was captured by those foreign troops. And that's where this guy here came to power. So Laurent Désiré Kabila, the guy here, so he was the one that the Americans actually chose to conduct the rebellion. But for sure, that rebellion was conducted by these three countries I've just mentioned, Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi. But they used him to show the world that it's not actually an invasion, it's an internal war between Congolese themselves. Because the head of the rebellion was a Congolese. So the world could say, it's among themselves. You see? So, but when on the 17th of May 1997 he came to power, he proclaimed himself as president. Rwanda, Uganda, they were not happy. So they started to fight him as well. So on August 1998, exactly the 2nd of August, they started war against him. 3 years on power, the CIA organized before Clinton left power. 1 day before, they shot him in his office and he was killed. The chaos continued. So his son, with white beard there, his son took over. And why he took over? Because he was already prepared by Belgium and America to take over because he accepted to play their game. And he was close to Rwanda. Do you see how the things continued? So, and people on the floor, they're just like, grasshopper, we can just crush them anyhow. So that's how it went, but that guy also ruled Congo for 20 years or so. And then we had the election 2018, and this one here came to power, Felix Tshisekedi. But people had hope in him to do better, but now he's turning into a monster. We've already talked about that. So in Congo, actually, we have more than 130 different armed groups involved in the fighting, including local resistance groups, Wazalendo. So, and all these 130 different armed groups are only concentrated in the east part of Congo. Why? Because that's where you have all these minerals. Gold, cobalt, diamond, coltan, lithium, tungsten, zinc, all of these, you name them, plus the forest, timber, these beautiful animals, gorillas, and all of that, they are in the east part of Congo. Oil, so much stuff. That's why the east part of Congo will never have peace, because that's where all this mineral comes. Like coltan, like I was telling Rob yesterday, coltan stands for Colombian tungsten. It's a specific mineral that is used on all the mobile phones we have here. All the mobile phones we are using, they use that particular mineral. Not only the mobile phone, we have electrical car today. The batteries that are made by those electrical cars comes from the mineral in Congo. The nuclear warhead that all these powerful countries are building, they come where? The mineral come from Congo. The first atomic bomb that bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan, the material, the uranium that built that bomb came from Katanga, Congo. So you can see the stake here. So that's why these people will never leave Congo alone. And these 130 different armed groups, they're only operating where there is mines. I have to inform you that since 2001, the United Nations deployed 20,000 UN peacekeeping mission in Congo, soldiers, but yet there is no peace. And these UN peacekeepers, they are all deployed where there is minerals. Instead of doing the job for which they were sent, they are also trading in all these minerals. So you understand why I don't know when we're going to have peace in that country.
I just want to ask a question for a second. You go back a slide. I thought Rwanda, for instance, is a really poor country, and yet it's been raging war for 25 years or more. So I'd just like you to go a little bit more into how they managed to fund that war for that many years, when I've always considered Rwanda to be a particularly poor country.
Thank you very much for the question. Rwanda is at the moment as we're talking, Rwanda is the first exporter of that particular mineral we call coltan. Yet Rwanda does not have it in its soil. Okay? So Rwanda gets it from Congo. And Rwanda is being used by those multinational corporations like the Googles, the Microsoft, the ExxonMobil, all of those, big companies, they are Teslas, to go in Congo to wage this war so that they can extract mineral on a cheaper price and export it in the West. There are also countries such as Germany that they have built a plant in Rwanda to mount electrical cars. Why? Because in Germany it's very expensive, the labor, all of that, so they want to do it in Rwanda because Rwanda is just you can walk, you cross into Congo and you have minerals, you take them there and you do whatever you want. You see, Qatar has built a big airport in Rwanda and has given Rwanda the first, it's like equal to Qantas in Australia, big, massive, all these 380 jumbo jets, where Rwanda will get money to pay through invading Congo, killing innocent people to plant. But what Rwanda says that we are in Congo to protect the minority Tutsi people. Why? As I said earlier on, when they carved up Africa, you find people who are from this country, but they found themselves the other side. But there are also a lot of Tutsi who came to Congo to work in mines at the time, and they're there. But now, Rwanda is using them as a bait to continue killing in Congo and plundering. So Rwanda said, okay, we are going there to protect the minority Tutsi because they are originally from Rwanda. But that is wrong, because when Rwanda invaded Congo, what they did was to infiltrate all the Congolese system, political system, military system, intelligence system. So Rwanda has the upper hand on everything in Congo government. The Tutsi in Congo, they are majority in the army, they are generals, and they don't like to be deployed anywhere else in the country except the east of Congo. And if Rwanda says that we are in Congo to protect the Tutsis, yet it's those Tutsis who are controlling the army in Congo. So who are those people Rwanda is protecting? See? So whenever you read the news, you see on the news that, oh, there is a minority Tutsi tribe in Congo that is being marginalized. That is a fallacy. It's wrong, because they are actually the one who are killing millions in Congo. So Rwanda, for now, wants to expand the territory, and they want to create what we call the Hima Empire, which is Rwanda, Burundi, and Uganda. So what they are doing, they are killing and displacing people from their land, so they bring new people from Eritrea, new people from Somalia, new people from Tanzania, of Tutsi origin, to go and populate that area. See? Congo has never invaded Rwanda. There was a genocide in Rwanda among Rwandans. Congo was not involved. Rwandans came to invade Congo, yet Congo has never crossed the border to go and fight back. And yet those 15 million people that died within Congo. So can you understand when Rwanda says, oh, we are being marginalized here, that is wrong. But the West, because they are using Rwanda as a puppet to gain mineral in Congo, they close a blind eye on all those atrocities that makes all these millions of Congolese refugees around the world. So we have the type of, persecution in Congo. We have political persecution. We are not here to just accuse Rwanda, accuse Uganda, whatever, but also our own authorities also, they do as equally bad stuff to their own citizens. So we are not here to say, okay, Rwanda, 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 but we also look at ourselves. What do we do? Because the government is weak, and when people want to demonstrate or to uprise to ask for change, they are crushed by their own government. So we have political persecution, arrests, discrimination is rampant. We have armed conflict, which is everywhere. Human rights abuses. We have economic and social exclusion. So the rich become richer. All those elites, they are richer, and the poor remain poor. So you find in Congo, even though Congo is rich, it's $1 a day for a family if they are lucky enough. Sometimes they can't even feed their kids with $1. They can't find it because there is no job, nothing. People keep running, it's chaos there. We have forced labor. Forced labor here, we have kids who are being used to work in mines just to earn meat. And you see on the mines underneath, they go there, they bring like a bag which is heavier than their own, just to gain like a 2,000 Congolese franc, which is less than $0.8, just to survive. And this is every single day. And these kids, you see them, and if they are not doing well, you will see how they are beating them. They've got wounds everywhere. It's horrible. So also we have the sexual and gender-based violence in Congo. Congo is the rape capital of the world. I stop by there. I don't want to go into details, but it's horrible there. So we have a doctor called Denis Mukwege. So if you want to know more about violence against women, you read Dr. Denis Mukwege. He was the Nobel Peace Prize winner in 2018. He is from my tribe. He is the man who they called him a man who repairs women. So you can read. There's so horrible stuff there. I don't want to go into that. But know that it's ongoing in Congo. And that one is being done by both sides. I'm not going to take side here. It's done by both sides. So many people are being arrested. In Congo, we have villages destroyed, like I said earlier on, torture, we have all of that. It's every single day it happens in Congo. So, because of what is, let me go back a little bit. So, by talking, you see all of this. This is the reason why Congolese people are mainly scattered everywhere. Inside Congo itself, we have 7 million internally displaced people who don't know where to go. They run within their own country. They build shelters here. Tomorrow it's destroyed by bombs, by raids. 7 million internally displaced people. And we have over 1.5 million Congolese scattered in refugee camps in neighboring countries. Uganda being the host. Even though Uganda is causing much pain to Congolese people by invading, by pillaging, but yet Uganda is reluctant to receive Congolese in its soil as refugees. So Uganda itself have like 600,000 as refugees there. We have refugees in Burundi. We have Congolese refugees in Tanzania. We have Congolese refugees in Kenya. We have Congolese refugees in Mozambique, in Malawi, in Zambia, in Zimbabwe, in Congo-Brazzaville, in Angola. So even in the Republic, the Central African Republic, we have Congolese refugees. Even in South Sudan, where there is no as well peace, where there is fighting, but Congolese, because they don't know where to go. They go to where there is war, just to find at least shelter. So that's why you see our fellow Congolese, they are coming here because they've left their home, they've left their livelihood, everything, just to come. And that's why we always thank the Australian government for this initiative of Getaway program to actually resettle our fellow human being to where they can find peace and solace. And we will always be grateful for the Australian government and you as people who are welcoming us in this beautiful country. When we talk about refugees in camps, people leave everything behind. They leave their life. Imagine you have a beautiful house, you have a beautiful farm, you have your cattle, everything, and what happened? War, just kick you out, you leave everything behind. The trauma that you carry with you is horrible. We've been through that, all of us. Sometimes you are separated with your loved ones because you did not have time to take your wife, you did not have time to take your child. You run for your life. The wife goes the other side, kids got lost, and the family is lost like that. So, imagine if you've been separated with your family like that, and you end up in refugee camp in Uganda. And if your family makes it out, maybe they make it out in Tanzania or in another country where they won't find you. See? So this is the reason why when you see refugees coming here, they come with loads, intergenerational trauma, which I don't know how it can end, but sometimes people take, courage to talk about it. Others, they don't simply talk about it. They keep it inside, and it kills them every day. So when we are in refugee camp, where we find peace, where do we find peace? In church. We find peace on the feet of our Lord Jesus Christ. That's where we turn to. Because when you go into a refugee camp, life is not easy. Life is so hard. The movement is restricted. Sometimes the WFP, which is supposed to give you food and things like that, they can take months without bringing anything. How are you going to feed your kids? How are you going to clothe? It's terrible. Sometimes the government that welcome you as refugees, when the aid come, they take it for themselves. And you will wait and wait and wait. And they put this condition to the UN, say, okay, if there is an aid that you want to give to these people, it has to pass through us. Let's say if the WFP give you 10 tons of maize, maybe 2 tons will get to the destination. The rest will be taken. So, refugees suffer. And because of that, how to find solace, peace? They go to church. They go to church when they feel hopeless. They go to church to worship because they believe and trust that God is the answer to every situation. Whether it will take long, but God's answer always comes at the perfect time. So, to survive, they have to turn to church. That's where everywhere, even Muslims, people who flee their country as Muslims, when they go to camp and they see how other refugees are worshiping God, singing, praising, and then go on their knees to ask God for mercy, to ask God for help, Muslim, they also become Christian. Because that is the only way they can survive in that particular environment. That's why you see, church is a place of worship and fellowship. For many, the church is a home and a place of prayer, community service, and fellowship, helping to rebuild self-worth. You go to church for healing from trauma. That particular 1 hour or 1.5 hours you are on your knees praising God, singing hallelujah, doing all of that, there is a sense of peace and encouragement. There is a sense of solace. See? And you can share with other people, stories, because each story of a refugee you see here is unique in its own telling. So, but when they sit around and they share, they find strength. This is what brought me here. This is what brought me. Okay, I thought mine was very bad. But hearing yours, I can't, you see? So, and this happened to me when I was in England. I went from place to place to do public speaking, just to raise awareness to British people to understand who are we, where we come from, and what we need. We are not bogus people. We are just people who are asking you to accept us the way we are and help us to rebuild, help us to heal. And church is a place of restoring dignity. So where you go there, you know that you are dignified. When a priest, when a pastor gives you the word that you needed to understand, you needed to hear, you are dignified. I don't know if there is any question, or we can carry, because I'm monopolizing the time. Yeah.
Oh, well, I do want to ask one question, actually. I thought there was another slide. I would like you to, one of the things that has interested me watching some of the Congolese worship is the structure of their service. So I would like you to just take a couple of minutes. I know we're talking for a long time, but I'd like you to take a couple of minutes to talk about the structure of worship that the Congolese, the process and the way they worship.
Man, Congolese love God. I'm telling you, Congolese people, they know how to worship. That's for sure. So when we are in church, the music itself, So when you're in church, we start with what we call praises. You know, you go in church, praises where you sing your heart out, you dance, you know, you sweat, you know, and you are singing, you are dancing, you are jumping for the Lord. You know that God is there saying, go on, my boy, go on, my girl. This is what I want. Because for God, praising is what God eats. God's food is praising. When you praise him, he likes it. So for us, when you finish praising, so that's what I'm saying, don't be really upset when you see Congolese people in the church. They are dancing, they are singing, they are jumping. That's who we are. That's who we are. Don't feel offended when you see us doing that. After praise comes the moment of worship. So the moment of worship is the moment where you turn to God to ask for forgiveness. When you turn to God to tell him how much you love him. When you turn to God to tell him what you need him to do for you. So it's when you see the singing, the dancing, that rhythm of singing stops, and there is this particular slow singing mood starting, kicking in, preparing people to receive the blessings. Sometimes you feel goosebumps going, you know, all over your body, ready to receive God's word. So when you finish the worship, then the pastor will come and preach the message. So after the message, the offering and all of that, and then we go back again into the praising. We praise and praise and praise and praise, and we can go on and on and on, because when we start that, you don't even want to go home. You want to do it and do it and do it and do it, and when we finish, receive blessings from the man of God, and we go home. Now we are in Sydney. I'm part of the, in England, I was part of the church called Christ Embassy Church, the Believers Love World. When I came to Australia, I joined the Congolese church called Australian Fellowship program in Liverpool, and I've been since. You know, after church service, every family, they bring food. So after the service, we set the table, we eat all together, then we can now start talking about politics, what is happening. We can now start talking about what did you do? Oh, do you know who can give me job? So we start now connecting, networking. So if I know something that can help you, I tell you go somewhere, they will help you. If I know where you can get help to maybe help, like bring your family members here. So after we've eaten, we are very full, then we can now start talking about, you know, all those things. And then we separate, we go home. The important dates that you'd like to know about the Congolese people. January in Congo is a very bad month. It's not a good month for Congolese people. Because all the calamities that have been happening in Congo, they always happen in January. Killing of the president, killing of the prime minister, war starting, always January. So for us Congolese, January is a triggering month. Like recently, this past January, I don't know if the problem here, you don't see this in the news. And all these newspapers, news agencies, they do it on purpose simply because they don't want people like you to know what they've been doing in Congo. So they hide it. We have more than 20 mining companies, Australian mining companies in Congo. Do you know about it? You don't know. You see? So they don't talk about it. So this past January, when Rwanda backed the M23 rebel movement, they invaded Congo, Rwanda again, and on a single day in Goma, they killed 10,000 people. Just a single day. 10,000 this January. So that's why January for us is just not a good month. And you can see 17th January, assassination of Laurent Desire Kabila, assassination of Lumumba, 17th Mobutu reign ends, June the independence, and with 70% of Christian in Congo, you know, Christmas is a big, big time. In Congo, people, they kill cattle. In Congo, Christmas is a big, big, big day. You know, the youth, they contribute like $1. They start the beginning of a year, $1, and at the end of the year, like Christmas, they throw a big party. That's how we celebrate Christmas and Easter. Culture, sport, and politics. Congolese people love their music. So we have two types of music. We have the ndombolo, the sukus, where you dance like the worship, the praises. And we have the rumba, which is slow sort of type of music. And you can see that music, not only for the world, but also church. We love the music, and we dance a lot. That one, I think me knows, when we were at TEF, you know, the teacher brought some culture, and I was dancing like hell, you know, because I did with me community service diploma in case management at TEF in Sydney. So football or soccer is one of the major sport in Congo. And even the president, when there is soccer, he will leave everything and go to the stadium to, you know, to support the team. Politics is very, very important for the community. Like I said, whenever we finish church service, we can talk about politics. So we want to know what is happening in Congo, even though we are here, but we want to know what is going on there. Because we still have family members there, we know that maybe they were raid somewhere, so we need to know what is going on. What are the politicians do to bring peace? What America has done. Like now, there is Donald Trump is trying to break peace between Rwanda and Congo. But unfortunately, he is also sending arms to Rwanda. So how can you be, and he is now claiming that he has ended war in Congo, while he is still sending arms to Rwanda and impose the embargo on Congo government. So why impose embargo on Congo government, but yet send arms to Rwanda? You understand? Because Rwanda is playing their game. And Ukraine, where there is war, Ukraine has opened an embassy in Congo, and 2 months later, they arrested a spy, Ukrainian spy, in Goma, which is border with Rwanda, and he was actually he was selling information, Congolese government information, through their embassy to Rwanda. So Congo is alone in this particular war, and it's because of our resources. That's nothing else. So the ugali you see there is our preferred food. Ugali is a compact maize flour. We make it like a porridge, but we keep adding flour in it until it becomes compact, and we eat it with fish, meat, stew, whatever it is. In every Congolese home, if they did not eat ugali, I don't know how that day will be. I don't know. If I don't eat ugali, I don't know what else I should eat. So ugali is our preferred, food, even though we eat rice, beans, and others, but ugali is the major. And traditional clothing, that's my lovely wife. And this is the attire of Congolese women when they are going out partying. When they are going out to church, I think you saw some of them here. They were dressing in this attire. So this is our traditional wedding. We call it super wax. Yeah. Presenting symptoms for Congolese refugees who are here. So you can see the slide here. The green is mild and the red is moderate. So you can see that for the Congolese people, the green is mild. So there is no much presenting symptoms of trauma for Congolese. The reason being is that they don't talk about it. And they don't want to share what they are going through. So the people who are working with them, they are really struggling to capture the real data of the suffering that Congolese people are going through in terms of trauma. Why? Because they simply choose not to talk about it. Because it's too disturbing, too distressing, so they prefer to keep quiet. And that you fail, like you see, traumatic stress symptoms, red is very small, and the green is big. Why? Because they don't talk about it. Yes? What to change? Yeah, I think it depends on how the service providers approach, the work, because these are the data provided by mental health services and trauma counseling service. So there are questions we have to be sensitive in terms of what we ask and how we ask it. For example, for the Congolese people, if you tell a Congolese people that they are mentally ill, when you ask me, when you say I'm mentally ill, that means I'm crazy there. And when I know that I'm crazy there, I'm not going to come to you and, I feel uncomfortable. And that way, the service provider cannot actually grab what they needed to do to work with the client. And sometimes they simply don't want to go and see the counselor. They prefer to turn to prayer. Okay, they prefer to go and pray about it. They ask God to take it away. So Congolese believe that any misfortune, anything that we are going through, God is able and capable to take it away. And the other thing is, you see, so when people, and this is what the challenge is for you guys in the church. You see, when people are here, instead of going to seek counseling or to see all those service providers, they believe that if there is something malignant happening in their lives, they believe that they've been bewitched. Okay? So, and by believing that there is witchcraft involved, what they do, they turn from traditional medicine back home. They will ring, say, okay, I need this herbalist to help me because something is going on in my life. So they believe that by turning to herbalist, they will get healed. And majority turn to God for prayer. They can ask pastor to pray for them. They can do prayer and fasting. And they believe that prayer and fasting, by repeating affirmations, that can actually help them to heal. So, and I just want the church to be aware of that. So if you see someone who says, I'm sick, but I don't want to go and seek counseling to a psychiatrist or psychologist, I believe that God is the true healer and he will make me whole. So understand where they come from. And people don't talk much about their situation based on the stigma related to sexual violence. As we said, A lot of people come here, they've been experiencing those type of things, and they carry them with them on a daily basis, and sometimes they just shut down because talking about it increase the pain 100-fold. And the other thing that I think church will be mindful of understanding in our community, marital breakdown is really regular, especially when people come here. Like I said, I was telling Rob yesterday that we have the family pyramid in Congo. When we come to Western, not only Australia, it can be United States, in England, wherever, that family dynamic, the pyramid, is turned upside down. So in our country, it's the man that provides. It's the men that take responsibility of the whole family. Even though the man is not working, but the wife has the moral responsibility to consider him as the head of the family. And no disrespect, nothing. The men understand that I have to go out to find something for my family, but there is no job, there is nothing. What do I do? But the woman understands that, and they keep that family dynamic. And the kids respect that. But the moment people are resettled in the Western world, that pyramid is turned upside down. It's now the woman who leads. And the woman leads not because the woman does not respect the husband, that's how the system is designed. And because that's how the system is designed, then I'm sorry to say this, we've seen this, that some women who don't want that particular dynamic to be in their life, they want to keep what they came with. Sometimes they complain about social workers who are pushing them to actually go against their will. We will give you more money. We will do this. We'll do that. I've worked with families that a wife has called the police on husband to say, he beat me. Simply because they told him, they told her that you will get 75,000 on domestic violence, which she will never have. The family is broken. How to mend it? This man who came with the hope of making it a productive, life, he will see himself with a criminal record looming over his head. And the life is shattered. And the woman who is trying to change the dynamic is no longer possible because it's now the police. You've given the statement, you are no longer a witness. That statement works on your behalf. And you will see those ladies falling into mental health. And now the kids, the family completely shattered. And that breakdown is very, very alive and rampant in this society. So the church should actually, when preaching, try to encourage families to stay together and, give that particular good education to the kids. The other problem is parents. Parenting has become very, very, very difficult because kids, when they come here, I'm sorry to say this again, when they go to school, the school plays a role of educating, but at the same time, the school plays a role of destroying. Destroying in which way? In a way that if I shout to my child, this is not right, why did you do this? The child will go to school angry. What happened? My dad shouted at me, or my dad slapped me, gave me a smack. Okay. Instead of calling the parent and ask what happened, and that's where it's a problem. Instead of calling the parent, okay, what happened? Can we capture your version? They call protection services. Child protection call police. And you find this innocent person who wanted just to educate his child end up in police cells. And this is happening a lot, and maybe by advocating, the church can help us. Not imposing the government structures, but to talk to our families. No, the families, refugees' family, to ask them, especially children, not to go that way.
You hear me now? Yeah. I've probably got a question that might entail a very long answer in effect, because I don't think... anyway, it's to do with cultures clashing, right? And I can see how the Congolese come with their culture and they come into a new culture. And just listening to you, I thought, boy, I've been wrong, and I can see how I can do things that are wrong. Like, I would encourage the Congolese to think about our culture a little bit. I can't help it, because I think, well, this is where they're going to be living. But I can see how it could be wrong as well, and I wouldn't mind if you made a comment about that. And the second thing that I really would like to ask is, it's really important for us as a church here to have really good child safety protection and for the children. Like, this is a really important thing that I totally am on board with. But I see it a real clash with the culture. And I'll just give you this example today, right? I'm driving back, and I suppose it just highlights it really heavily, right? But one of the dear little girls is out on the road, heading towards the middle of the road. And my heart just bleeds, so I quickly just pulled over and walked towards the child. And there were other cars that were starting to pull up. And so it just highlights to me that this is where the cultures sort of clash and are different. And I want to appreciate and understand why the cultures are different. I'm sympathetic to it, but I don't want the children to be hurt. Anyway, there are two questions there, and I think it could take a long time to answer them, but you just got my heart bleeding over those two things as I heard you talking. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I wouldn't myself allow someone to hurt a child. Never. Because I work in an environment whereby protecting child is my utmost responsibility. And if that happens, I'm a mandatory reporter, and I will go straight away and report it. I will do that without hesitation. But if a child who has been maybe shouted at because something has been done wrong goes to school and say, my dad, my mom shouted at me, I think it's a responsibility of people to ask what happened before going to a next level. See? And then hear the version of the parents, and then you can decide whether to go ahead and report, because you are a mandatory reporter. Because you also have to back yourself up if anything happens. Why didn't you do it? See? So, for me, I'm not condoning the fact that parents have done that to their kids, but I'm trying to, to see how can we do in a very good way. See? I was working with a family that a child was on the last year of primary in Newcastle, and at the break time, I'm sorry to just say this, break time, the kids were talking and chatting, and she was just there listening to her colleagues talking, and the colleagues approached her and said, but why aren't you talking? can't you bring something? And the child did not know what to say, so she made up a story. And a story that turned the whole family upside down. The child said, oh, yes, my dad kisses me. You see? Oh, your dad kisses you? How? Yeah, my dad kisses me. And this girl ran to the teacher and said, oh, you know what? Angel just told me that the father kisses her. The father gives her a blue kiss. I don't know what that means. The teacher, instead of coming to clarify that particular assertion from the child, the teacher straight away took the phone, called child protection. And the child protection called the police. They all came together to school. You see? And they started questioning the child. And the child with the police uniform, she got really scared, and she thought she was going to be jailed. And then she started lying against the father to protect herself. 3 p.m., the child is not returning, so they grabbed her, and the father is going out to say, why Angel is not coming? It's too late. The father is about to jump in the car to go to school to check. The police, boom, at home, grab him, and he's in jail for something that he never. And when the daughter realized that, oh, this is what I've done, the daughter, as I'm talking to you right now, is at Nexus, Newcastle Mental Health. Never recovered from that. This is what I'm talking about. You see? So had the teacher go back to ask to clarify, maybe it wouldn't have been this far. Now the child is receiving all these injections, the depot, because she's struggling. Now the school, she no longer goes to school. The school is done. The family is done. Her life is done. She's now on the book of mental health, chronic mental health. Why? For that simple sentence, my father kisses me. So that's what I'm talking about. Need clarification, and if that's true, report it. It's as simple as that. And talking about clash of culture, I know Congolese people, we are resilient and we assimilate ourselves so quick. We learn so quickly, and we are good at assimilating both cultures together. And that's why you will never find a lot of Congolese into all these things that others do. We are mindful of that, and we know why we're here, and we're really grateful for what Australia has done to bring us here. What we can pay back to Australia is to be good citizens. So, again, challenge to church. I will summarize it in one word: advocacy. Advocate for these people. Just find where there is work, I know we have so many problems with housing, with all of this. Just when you have time, advocate for these people. If there is a place where they can find work, whether it's in farms, wherever, advocate for them. Advocate to the government, to the Doha, Department of Home Affairs, to help them bring some family members who are left behind. This is, church can do more. Church can do more in that particular instance. Because, like I said, we have this fracturing within communities in Australia. I would say in Congo, and I want you to be aware, sometimes you will see Congolese people with this, I would say, clash of tribalism. It happens, but the good thing is, instead of physical fight, people simply move to different cities. Let's say if the Babembe and the Bashi, they are clashing, or the Banyamulenge, they are clashing, what happens? Instead of physically fighting, one group decides to move to a different city to avoid that. So the clash is between the tribe, but not physical. Maybe at some point, you may witness or see something like that. So don't think that, they are fighting physical or whatever, because sometimes they exchange words. If I know that you are one of the people that have been killing my people, I won't come near you. You see? So something like that. So when that clash happens, people tend to move away so that they don't actually, do the physical. So we have women also. Women may be ostracized, excluded from community. Let's say, for example, if we know that a lady was raped. In Congo, if we know that you were raped, you were a victim of rape, they exclude you. They don't look at you as a human being. They look at you as a cursed person. And this has not happened for your will. You were forced. But because of that, sometimes your husband will never have anything to do with you again. You see? So, and you see, these are the women that normally comes here on 2 or 4 visas. So the women at risk visas. So when you see they come with their children alone, see, because of this, they've been maybe excluded or don't know where the husband is. See, so they come with that particular stigma. So when you see those, you need to approach them and support them in a way that maximizes their willingness to, to recover. Yeah, there is also, that's what I was saying, there is frustration about lack of support. When, not only Congolese refugees, when they tell you, okay, you've done your interview, you are going to Australia, you do your medicals, everything, you are so happy. So happy. Sometimes you forget about the trauma back home. You forget about the 30 years you spent in camp. You are so excited. You go to Australia, they will give you money, house. That's what they tell us. Free house, this and that. You are so excited. But the moment you come here, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, you don't see anything, frustration kicks in. When frustration kicks in, then there is this particular situation of intergenerational trauma that returns, plus the frustration where you are, you fail to integrate. And when you fail to integrate, that's when you see people are lonely. People are close to themselves. They no longer go out. They no longer talk to anyone. You won't see them anymore out. You see? And when you go to them, you know that this is mental health. This is not normal, but they will not open up. But this is the real place where they can open up to God and talk to them. So the church should actually know all about this and do their best. Yeah, so is that the question you wanted to ask?
That was one of my questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put that one up there.
there.
I added it to your slides, yeah. Sorry about that. I was just, so we're a small church, as you experienced this morning, and we've had about 70 or 80 Congolese come in the last 2 months, and we're expecting 90 before the end of the year coming to Armidale now. So 2 questions. One, can we do, what is your advice for us as a small church, as us as individual church, and also for the Christian community in total in Armidale? But you've probably answered most of those questions along the way.
Yeah, I think I've touched all of those. The first thing is just the church should really consider advocating for these people. The church is a peaceful place. I always say there is this scripture, I can't remember, it's Psalm 133, where you say, in Swahili we say, ona inavyopendeza watu wakiishi kwa umoja. How good and beautiful it is for people to live together in peace. It's like oil flows down the garment of Aaron. You see? So that is the advice I can give the church. Embrace these people. support them with whatever it is that you have. Advocate for them to access services around. I know it's really hard, housing, job, all of that, but the little you can do will be appreciated hundredfold. And as a Christian community, always encourage them to actually stay close to God. Because we won't find peace, we won't find encouragement, we won't find solace in the world. The preacher today was clear. He gave a striking message on how the world is going. From the TV thing to whatever it is, and to AI today, the world is going very, very bad. If you can bring people together here at church, allow them to embrace God. Use these vicinities to worship God, to do community gatherings. Think, and I don't know how we call apostola in English. Apostolate means like befriending, visiting. Yeah?
Visiting,
Yeah, the befriending, visiting. If you know someone who knows something, they can visit or maybe call them and teach English at home. All of those things as Christian, okay, we can do that. Corinthians says, love. Love. You love one another, and this is the love that surpasses everything. When you provide something that will last forever in my memory, you've done something very good to God. I think that's my advice.
Okay. I think we were going to have a time for questions, but I think we've had those, and what was going to be a 30-minute session from Jermaine has grown into an hour and a half. Yeah. Sorry?
15 minutes, we went to half an hour.
But this is fantastic. So on behalf of, I'm going to say on behalf of the entire Armidale Christian community, I would like to thank you very much for the insights you've given this afternoon. It's been a tremendous session, so thank you very much. And I might just take 30 seconds and let's just pray for the Congolese community here in Armidale, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Father God, we thank you for these beautiful people that you've brought in amongst us here in Armidale. We cringe, Lord, as we've learnt the history of some of these people and of this country of the Congo. Lord, you created the heavens and the earth, and you created the Congos. And Lord, your heart must bleed for what is happening and going on there. Father, as you bring these people amongst us, I pray, Lord, that we would have a heart for them, that, Lord, as Jermaine says, that we might advocate with strength for them, that we might always stand up for them, Lord, in this community. I pray that the peace of God and the Lord of creation would be in the hearts and minds of every of the Congolese that have come amongst us, that he would bring a deep-seated peace to all of them. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for welcoming me here. And this is not the last time. I will keep coming and visiting. Thank you.